Hi, how are you? This is Jelly Bling. Look how cute this is. This is the Cheers and Sips bundle, and it includes designer paper, a stamp set, dies, and just lots of spirit, lots of fun. And the ribbon is retired, but these are the new holographic dots. And I use the, what do they call that? Circle dots embossing folder. And in the background, I don't know if you could tell, there's some little stripes done in Versamark for just a little bit of interest. But this is so much fun. And I have to admit, the bundle, the designer paper, all the dies, it made me a little bit nervous, but I kind of honed it in. So here is today's project. I want to do another one in kind of the warmer tones, the I think it's like peach pie and timid tiger, kind of warmer colors. And this one I was focusing on lemonade and just different kind of tropical drinks, not so much the alcoholic ones, but today's project is different. I spent a little bit of time in Spain and come to find out that the sangria is cheaper than the bottled water. This was in my youth, so you know what I did? You know what we all did? We drank a lot of sangria. It's never been the same. I don't know if it's just because it's not Spanish, but can't be drinking that anymore. But when I saw the designer papers, like, oh my gosh, I have to do something with that. So that's today's project. And I try to keep it a little bit simple on the inside. You can write whatever you like, especially with just something as generic and simple as hello. A little bit of pink lemonade, more lemonade. So let me show you. Cheers and Sips. And when you look at that, it's like, oh yeah, I can make all kinds of drinks. Just think about coloring these in. But of course there's a designer paper. And then Patterns of Friendship, just because I want to use the words, you bring so much joy and laughter to my life. If you were drinking that much lemonade or sangria, you would have a lot of joy and laughter. So I want to use that. Simply Said I'm using for the hello, but all of these would work really nice. And Painted Stripes will be for just a little hint on the background. I'm wondering when I use peach pie if it's going to show up a little bit stronger, but we'll see. Unbound dies for the word label. And the Sips, Cheers and Sips dies for, I'm not using that on this one, but I'm going to show you what I'm thinking for the next one. It's overwhelming. So if you're in the same position where you have all this, it's really cute, but you're like, oh my gosh, where do I start? So this is a place to start based off of how cute the designer paper is. And then after you do this, then you'll have more ideas. Then after you do the next one, you'll have more ideas. So let me show you a few things, particularly the designer paper. Okay, so these are for today. Oh, and this layout came from Stampin Savvy. Tammy Beard had something very similar to this, and I added more stuff on and changed it up a little bit, but Tammy deserves credit because the idea came from what she posted on Pinterest. Thank you, Tammy. These are the papers, but we'll get to this in just a minute. What do you think about these colors? Very different than the greens. And you know, when looking up on the back of the designer paper, it tells you what colors are in there. They suggested Old Olive and Lemon Lime. And I'm like, oh, that's really bright. So, excuse me, I went with Soft Seafoam and Mossy Meadow. And I do see the lemon lime in like some of the fruit. And when I put it all together, well, here, let me show you. Let me show you. So this is what the designer paper said it would be. Hold on, I'll put it more in view. Just a minute. I'm going to get 2 more pieces of this designer paper. Okay. So when you see this, oh, it would be without mossy meadow. Okay, so when you see this, you're probably like, well, yeah, that works. So it'd be just a little bit of that. Maybe the olive is a base. And this is the inside. And when you put it up next to the papers, yes, that does work. Because see how these colors pull together? And in the mint here, they do have old olive and the lemon lime twist. But this is like a party right here. And I'm like, I don't know about that. This is my tamed down version. So just differences, and some people really like bright colors. I guess I go with the a little bit softer colors. Okay, let's get on with this. So I want to show you the designer paper. So this page right here, I said, look at all of that you could cut out, and it's all fussy cut. The thing is, many times the sprig of, I'm thinking maybe rosemary, it goes over into the bottle, so you have to be creative, like even this one. But how it goes over into the bottle, just let the bottle remain as it is, and you could kind of clean up the ends with the cup, but then you just put something strategically, like another cup right over the edge there. Same with these things. If you want the big green wine bottle, just go ahead, and because the yellow drink is on top, that one remains whole. You'll get a little notch out of your green wine bottle, but you can easily put like this cup right over it. So after you have all these pieces cut out, pieces that you like oh, I like that one and I like that, there's a way to make it work. So this is what started this project. And on the back is the dots. This is the paper we're using, or I used on the sample. On the back of that is pretty flowers. So if you didn't want to do it for the drinks, the flower paper is beautiful. This is what we'll use today. And on the back, more flowers. Okay, but this paper, look at this. Oh, is this the one? It cuts out anything without something sticking out. It cuts it out. Look at that. That's fun. And I think it even cuts this out. So maybe you could cut out the drink and then with your scissors, cut out that and just kind of stick them together. So what do you think about that? That is crazy fun. Or you could just fussy cut it because the umbrella is very cute. But then there's an umbrella in the stamp set. Oh. And the stamp cuts out, let me see what percentage this is. See how there's no little writing down at the bottom, like right here? This one says image 85%. So this is only 85% of what it is in real life. There's nothing written there. So, see how this cuts it out? This cuts out this one. So you could stamp it and then cut it out. Okay. And more dies. And as I show you the next sheet, you'll probably know what a lot of these are. The next sheet of designer paper. Okay, today's project, we'll get there really soon. So there's that, and on the back is pretty flowers, 2 sheets of that. So this one, as I go, oh, that's a lot of fun. Hold on. because all these little things are represented in the stamp set. Therefore, by chance, could they be the same size? Yeah. Look how it cuts that out. Or you could stamp it and color it. This one cuts out the lemons. This one cuts out the olives. Are there olives on here, or is there another page? No. That one cuts out the olives right here. And just think about having olives on that little pokey thing. Yeah. Lemons. This one cuts out the ice cubes. There's no ice cubes on here. This one cuts out the mint. This one cuts out the raspberries. You can see where I'm going with this. You could cut out a lot of things, maybe all of them, on this page. Is there a big strawberry? Look at that. Isn't that amazing? What is this one? This one is celery. I don't see any celery on here, so you just need to stamp it. And then there's this little die that perfectly fits into the large tall glass, and that makes it sparkly, like it's effervescent. Okay, so I haven't even gone there on all of this. At this point, I just had to do one step at a time. And looking at all this, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. But I know next project, I'll have a better grip on it. And then there's one more sheet of designer paper. And I've seen people using this as a background. On this side is cloud cover and iridescent, effervescent sparkles everywhere. I love that, but I like blues. Okay, so this page, you can cut out your drinks. Put it up a little bit higher, and you have like a little bit of the glass showing. And I'm pretty sure that you could take the stamp, stamp over the top with a little bit of glass, and then this would cut it out. And same thing with this. Have it right there. The glass is full. There's that much at the top. Isn't that fun? And look at all these different cups. I want to do something with this on the next project. All of these different color beverages. I was like, what kind of beverage do you like? As I mentioned in the last video, we're going on vacation to Mexico. And I bet you the stamp, you could stamp it first, then cut it out. Or just do it like that. And everyone drinks margaritas. I don't particularly care for tequila. So I said, I'd like a fruity drink, but I don't like tequila. They go, we'll do a daiquiri. I'm like, okay. So I always do mango daiquiris. And it's the only time, once every 2 years, that I drink. I've learned the hard way. If you've listened to all the videos, you probably heard me 2 times after going out and having one drink. It's not good. Not good at all. Okay, so with all that, are you overwhelmed too? But in a good way? I am. Okay, back to the project. The dies, we won't use too much of these today. Let's do this. Okay, paper's on top. Let's stamp the words. Let's celebrate and use the cutest little die. Can you tell I tried twice to use that die to cut out the words cheers? It just doesn't fit. But the word let's celebrate, it fits perfectly. And it's small, but that's okay. And when you stamp something, are you ever just like, that is just so cute? I don't know why or how a font could be so cute, but look at that. So this fits perfectly, like I planned it. Okay, like Stampin' Up planned it. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. Look at this. Is that just the cutest thing? And that will go over Instead of saying hello, this one will say, let's celebrate. Okay, we have one thing done. We're done with our dies. You have to do some fussy cutting though. Okay, so strips of paper, and the paper cut sizes are in the video description if you want to make this one. So I'm going to cut out 3 circles with a punch, and you could do any size circle punch you have, or you could do dies. But sometimes it's nice to do it with a punch, because if you've done everything with dies, and you get to stay right at your spot and not have to go to your machine, doing a punch is nice. I'm using a 1 3/4, but there's all different sizes. And when I went to lay my circles onto here, I kind of wish they were a little bit smaller, but then I do like it staggered. So any way you do it is just fine. Also, when I was texturing my circles using dotted circle, let me show you what I did. And I'd say you don't need to do that. Today I want to do the swirly one. But when I was doing this green card, I put this circle right in the middle, and then I did these like that. And I was hoping that once it was textured, you could see that it was a continuing circle, but because I decorated them so much and they're staggered, it's not worth the effort. You could just put them anywhere in here and they'll have bubbly drink dots on them. But today, I want to do So Swirly. Just thinking if you have a drink or a mango daiquiri, it's going to be swirly. Okay, just going to texture those. And here they are with, and yeah, my punch is a little tired, but I'll just have to decorate it really hard right there. And they're swirly. Okay, so we're done with that paper. Let's build the base. Oh, I want to do that big stamp with the stripes on it. This one here, painted stripes. I've had it for a while, haven't used it until today. Okay, so to do the stripes, here's the stamp. I'm going to use Versamark, and I could use dye-based ink, colored ink, but using Versamark generally will make your paper one shade darker, with the exception of white and black. Black, you could kind of see it. And I'm not going to apply any powders or nothing. Just have this watermark, Versamark stamp, make it a shade darker. And I'm hoping it's a little bit more visible with this peach pie colored cardstock. I'm not so sure that it's straight. Let's see if it's obvious. Because the pattern is a little bit random, it might not be obvious. If it is obvious, we could do it again and put that to the inside of the card. Okay, let's see what it does. And if your Versamark is well inked, it'll be a stronger look, darker. And if your Versamark is not well inked, okay, at this point you're like, I don't see too much. You could kind of see the top is a little crooked. I think once it's decorated, it's fine. So if I hold this up, there, you could see it. And another thing is, time goes by, it'll make it just a little bit darker. Once the ink starts to absorb into the paper, it'll make it a little bit more obvious. Okay, Timid Tiger, I don't use that very much. That goes inside. Yeah, you can't see. You know what? Let me try. Let me try again. I'm going to re-ink it. I can see it a little bit better now that time is going by. But sometimes people are like, well, how do you re-ink? So here we go. Versamark is usually a little challenging to get out, so I take 2 hands, squeeze it, put it on everywhere. And I could tell this is an old pad because it's no longer white. You could really see it sinking in now. Okay, particularly the middle. It seems like that's what gets worn out first. Okay, some places the ink is on top. You could definitely see the pattern in there. Then with the rounded tip, with just a little bit of pressure, kind of work it in. And you could really see that this was a thirsty stamp pad. And no matter what you do, you can't perfectly get it worked into the pad so it's perfectly even. When you start using it and when you're tapping your stamp into the pad, that will disperse the ink better. And if there's one area that you see it's like that really is absent of ink, you can add a little more, like right through here. But keep in mind, it will look just a little splotchy until you start using it. Okay, let's try it again. See, this is a good experiment. Okay, where's that stamp? Okay, so this that has the crooked stripes on it is going to flip over. This is now going to be the inside. And you can't even tell that there are stripes right there. Okay, so doing this really helps work the ink into the stamp pad and make it a little bit more uniform. Okay, that's what we did. Okay, get it straight. I'm going to have it hang over a little bit beyond that. That's better. And maybe it'll be stronger ink color. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, much better. See, isn't that better? And with each passing minute, it's going to get stronger and just a little darker. That compared to this. Yeah. See, that was a good experiment. Okay. So you just keep getting darker. Another thing is after you use Versamark and you don't heat set it with any powders or anything, if you were to put a dimensional on here right now and the ink is still wet, the dimensional say, I don't want to stick to that. So giving it just a little bit to dry and soak in, that's a good thing. Okay, let's get to building. These could stick together. Oops. Okay, so if you have that big sheet of designer paper with all of the drinks and wine bottles on it and fruit on it, I know I'm doing the sangria direction this time, but my goodness, how do you know where to start with which ones to pick? I just started in the bottom corner and just started picking them, saying, okay, you go over to my non-alcoholic lemonade day, and then the orange card. Ooh, look how dark that is now. Yeah. Isn't that fun? So any paper, anything you have. Look at that. Okay. So as I started to cut out items, each thing was, that goes to the sangria page. That goes to the lemonade page. This with just a cherry in it, that could go to the lemonade page. So as you go through each one of these, you could determine, is it a yes or a no? All of my no's are in here. There's also freestanding fruit, such as the strawberries. and the oranges, and those are perfect for covering up little alligator bites out of your cups. And I'll show you what I mean. I already have them cut out, just in the interest of time, including the sangria pitcher. So I just cut them out from here, kind of laid them out. On the green card, I tried to do things that had a lot of green in them to accentuate the green color. So here's my plan. This is for the inside. Bottom, middle, top. And some of them are strategically placed because, like that, because it's round, it probably had a lemon there. I'm using this orange, but it's going to tuck back behind the pitcher. This strawberry is covering up another, maybe an orange mark. But see how perfectly it covers it up? Okay, so let's decorate our little circles. I wonder if, no. So here's our circles. See, they overlap. Nope, I'm going to do it the same. So let's start with the middle one. And you just attach them. Some things get dimensionals. I cut out the handle where your fingers go through. So I want, maybe I have that hanging off so it couldn't be seen. So I'm going to put this one on dimensionals just because I see the orange, and I'm going to tuck the orange underneath something such as the pitcher. So this goes on with dimensionals. And I'm just going to alternate on all of the drinks and the containers. Half dimensionals, the other half glued flat. Oh, that one has stuff on it, so it could go right here. This will be the middle one though. Now put the pitcher bottom so you can still see the circle. Now this one can go here. And you can see I have a little bite out of it, so that needs to be strawberry. And this one too. So how about, but I really like that drink, just because it has so much detail in it. So this drink can go flat. And it's hanging over the circle, that's fine. And then our little partial orange. Okay. And then our strawberry has to go on here to cover up this little munch. And that, I'll put it on with a dimensional. Well, that's a really small dimensional. Okay, glue. But there's not much room to put the glue. Once I set it onto the card, I'll attach it just a little bit better, but I definitely want to cover up that hole. Okay, so there's one of them. And see how the orange, you can't tell that it's a partial. Okay, so that's done. Oh, that's middle. Oh, but where are my words gonna go? I don't want to cover up too much of that drink, just because, do you see the detail in there? Look at those little ice cubes. It's like I want to save that. Well, maybe this card will have to be a little different. Okay, let's do the top. I'm thinking about which side to put the tall container. This one's going to come over here. I think I'm going to trade these two. Just because that fits good there, this fits good here. Therefore, I'm going to trade beverages, because another thing is I tried to balance the colors. because this is red with hints of purple and pink. Purple, pink, going more toward strawberry. And then the blue, it's just so that it's different. Okay, that's looking good. So these two, because there's just 3 items, I'll put them like almost centered on the circle. Just because there's not so many. Okay, this one will go over a little bit. How about right about here? Because it could take up the space because the sangria has to bump out a little bit. Okay, this is looking good. And I'll have this little drink down with glue, and then the strawberry popped up. Where's that strawberry? I think it's a mini dimensional. There. What's on my finger? Something sticky. It's like a dimensional part. Oh, it gets to stay right there. Okay, so there's that. This. Let's stick this one together. And I'm going to put it down lightly because I'm not quite sure, because I see that this cup has a little chomp out of it. So that could go down flat. Oh, I don't want to cover up, excuse me, I don't want to cover up the orange. Well, the strawberries could cover that up. So I'm going to put it on a dimensional just so that that little orange can ride up on the drink bottle. Okay, and then that will have to be covered up with strawberries. Well, instead of trying to put a strawberry on the back of it, I'm going to put the dimensional, whoops, kind of tuck it underneath. Well, that's cute. I have another strawberry. I might want to go to the inside because that's looking good. I could put it here or there. I think it goes to the inside. Okay, so the outside is done. What do you think? I'm not sure about the celebrate. Here's a gap. Maybe there. That looks good. Okay, so let's see how this is doing. I could still feel a bit of the Versamark feel, but I think it's dry enough. And the inside, see, we decorated the inside too, but it's hard to see it, especially compared to that. Okay, so this is going to go, all of you little pieces, stay right here. I think I have allergies. And the night it gets bad. And I'd be really fearful of giving it to Warren, but I think he gave it to me. He started with it. But his is just a little bit of a cough. Okay, I want to use this ribbon. This is called, okay, ribbon. White. This is called white ribbon. Should I do a bow? That other one, where's my green one? I just tied it around the spine. But that one is sparkly to go with the holographic gems. Should I try maybe Ziggle Zaggle? A lot of it will be covered up though. Excuse me. Well, that's kind of fun. Or maybe just under the middle one. Okay, I think under all of them. My tape runner is like, you haven't used me in a long time. You and that glue. I use glue all the time. Okay, let's see how it will look. And I could still pull it up if it doesn't look good. I think it's just a distraction. Some of you are talking. Lori, I know you're talking. Maybe just under the words. Let's do that. Just under the words right down here at the bottom. Okay, so to attach these, I'll do the top one and the bottom one, a little bit off of this panel, but in the middle. Because it's textured and being a little heavy on the glue. So it's in the middle. Those sides are equal. It's a little bit off the top. Same thing with the bottom. A little bit off the bottom, equal on the sides. Okay, and then this one. No, off to the side is better. Make sure it's straight. Okay, then I'm going to put a dimensional underneath this top. I don't know if I could do a whole one or if it has to be cut in half. Cut in half, just to make sure. I could use that on the handle. Okay, the handle. See, I'm trying to be careful and get that right to where it needs to go. And then on the bottle top. Okay, so So now under here, I'll put, let me try to do it first a little bit flat. And I'm putting a lot of adhesive on here so I could stick the ribbon in here. And I know the ribbon will probably fill up and take up all of that adhesive, but that's fine. Somehow I'll add more adhesive. Celebrate. Okay. Trim the ends. So it's going to go right here. Just like that. So now to attach it, glue dots I'm thinking. And then I'll follow it up with a little liquid glue. The last thing I want is this to pop off. That'd be terrible. Oh, we still get to do the inside with the joy and laughter. That stamp. Okay, so that will hold it initially, but then I'm going to put glue that will soak into the ribbon, and then it will hit the paper, and then we know that this greeting, it's not going to move. And I'm putting glue only underneath the paper because I don't want the glue to soak through and for you to see like a wet spot on the front. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so the glue dots are holding it now, but the glue is soaking in. Okay, and what about, I had some bling picked out. Let's bling. How does this happen? I'm working in this much space. Oh, here, look at this. And look how perfectly these match this project. So what color to go with? The cloud cover, maybe because of that, but I'm thinking maybe strawberry slush, and if I do the timid tiger, that just might soak in too, or be a little bit too similar to the background paper. So strawberry slush it is. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Okay, so the front is done. So for the inside, I'm going to do those words, put on these cute little cutout pieces. So the words will be in black, memento black. You bring so much joy and laughter to my life. And because that's polymer, I'm going to get my little foam pad. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try one more time. It looked like the ink is a little hesitant on the brand new polymer stamp. So if ever that happens, give your stamp a clean, especially with the new stamps. I'm going to put some spray on here. Today's video has a lot of maintenance info. And that's the Stampin' Up cleaner. It smells delightful. It smells like rose water. Okay, now I'll clean it. Ooh, it's getting all bubbly. And this can be a rinse. Okay, let's see if that helps. Get a better stamp. Can make sure it's dry. Okay, let's try one more time. Then we'll take the best of the two. I'm thinking it's a lot better already. Oh yeah. I'll hold it up so you can see the difference. That's after cleaning it. See how it's solid? And then this is before cleaning it. And I was just unhappy with this over here. Okay. So this cuteness is going to go on. I really like the umbrella, a strawberry. So much for just 3 pieces. That's a lot of pieces. And I have no little bites to work with. No problems. Because there's red in the cherry, I'm going to exchange these. That one could be there. This one could be here. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll put this one on with dimensionals, and the rest of them could be flat. Cutest little bottles and cups. It's all crooked. Therefore, I'm going to cover it up quite a bit with my bottle. And then this one is dimensionals. I'm trying to get them centered in the inside of the card. I was about to overlap it, but because these are both a little bit to the left, it's a standalone. It's a standalone cut. And the strawberry will go right here. And this lemon can go here. So I'll put a mini dimensional on the back, and then half of it will be dimensional. The other little bit will be riding up on the cup, right here at the bottom. Okay, so this is tolerable, right? It's not overwhelming. I think so. It's like I could do that. I could do this in all kinds of colors and just pick out the cups and the bottles from the paper. This is okay. I'm good with this. On to the other ones though. Oh no. Okay. It's a little bit heavy on the glue there. It'll dry. So I'd love to know which one you like better. They both have quite a different feel to them. I'm really happy that we put more Versamark onto the ink pad so it's a little bit stronger. But which one do you like? They're both just very different. Very same, but different. Okay, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like, and if you can, do the share button. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. Thanks.